A Goldfish Adventure for Tatters and Fred. Story by Patty Garkey. Timmy was excited. He had just won a goldfish in a bag at the school carnival by throwing a ping pong ball into a cup of water. Timmy's best friend, Peter, had won a goldfish too. But Peter's mom said one pet was enough. They already had a cat. So Timmy now had two goldfish. Timmy's mom took him to the pet store and he came home with a goldfish bowl, a plastic plant, a few pebbles, and a stone castle big enough for both fish, and some fish food. Timmy named his fish Tatters and Fred. Tatters because he had a slit in his tail. Timmy was careful not to give Tatters and Fred too many fish food flakes. It was fun to watch them open their mouths and gobble the flakes from the surface of the water. Timmy also liked to watch Tatters and Fred dart in and out of their castle. They liked to chase each other around the ball. In no time at all, Tatters and Fred become best friends, just like Timmy and Peter. It was a hot July day when Timmy decided to cool off in the creek that ran behind his house. He took Tatters and Fred with him so they could watch him splash around in the water. But Timmy backed into the fish bowl while kicking off his shoes, and both goldfish plopped into the creek. Plop, plop! My fish! Timmy cried, and he ran up to the house to tell his mom what had happened. It didn't take long for the creek's current to carry Tatters and Fred downstream. Fred ended up in a quiet pool of water, surrounded by big rocks and some tree limbs. He felt safe but lonely because Tatters was no longer with him. Tatters was carried to the other side of the creek, right across from Fred. His new home was not very comfortable for a fish. Also, he really missed Fred, so he decided to go look for him. I'm coming, Fred! The creek's current was strong, but Tatters was a good swimmer. He kept getting pushed further downstream, but he fanned his tail fins back and forth as fast as he could and ended up on the opposite side of the creek. And there he found Fred in his quiet pool of water, surrounded by small boulders and fallen tree limbs. There were even secret hideaways in the rocks, just like in their castle in the bowl. Fred was so happy to see his best friend Tatters again that he swam right over and gave him a big goldfish kiss. And Tatters was overjoyed to see his best friend Fred. Tatters and Fred explored their quiet pool of water together, surrounded by rocks and tree limbs. They felt very safe and were so happy to be together once again.
Question time.
Independent thinking, empathy, kindness. 1. Why do you think being in a river will be uncomfortable for pet goldfish? 2. How do you think is the best way to care for goldfish or any pet?